Y'all, welcome to the Uninvited podcast where we talk about things that will get you uninvited to your next dinner party, man. Yo, we back.
Yep.
Well, I'm back. I missed last week. But yo, main man Matt is in the house. My boy Rick is in the house. My boy Dwayne is in the house. We got lots to talk about. And we got a finale. Well, I shouldn't say finale conversation, but this whole thing of polygamy that Mr. Dwayne had brought up.
Yeah, no, say, let's hold up. Time out.
So,
you brought it up.
It's the final chapter.
No, this is the final chapter, the final battle.
We're going to resolve this finally, right?
of this polygamy issue. But yo, take the floor. Let me hear what you were talking about.
All right, so I kind of went down a rabbit hole on polygamy, and remember that we spoke about it on the podcast quite a few times. Space would bring it up. I just want to put that out there. And
yeah, you need somebody to blame.
I
right?
want to.
I accept. If you want to
we never really spoke about the conversation because I was told by my producer that sometimes I have the tendency to derail something by saying "Thus saith the Lord." So, for this particular podcast, I'm going to suspend that and actually talk about, can polygamy work, or does it, will it work, or what cases does it work, or, is it something that we shouldn't do? So that's what we
thus says everybody else.
Exactly. So I got some videos. I pulled up some videos, and whichever first one you want to pull up.
Everybody can see the videos, right?
Yeah.
Y'all can see the videos?
So this is this is Farrakhan. No, so this is we want to play the video with
Shahrazad Ali.
What was her name?
Shahrazad Ali.
Shahrazad Ali.
Give me like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Let me find that.
Yeah. So basically that's basically it. So I'm trying to actually bring some, really talk about it, see what we can do.
Mm.
Yeah.
The Western world versus Africa's thoughts on it.
Well, that's another thing.
Very, very different.
Okay, I found it. I'm like, no. Yeah, sorry. Here we go.
Fellas, how y'all doing, by the way, while we waiting for this video?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man.
Good. Feeling good.
Oh no, this is not it.
Nah, yeah, that's
it's the lady, right?
It's the lady.
Hang tight, y'all. Hang tight. Here comes the video.
Oh, it's this one. Oh, this wasn't it. All right.
You say in your book, there is no history of the black man settling down with one woman,
right,
and never desiring to have another, before slavery, during slavery, or after slavery.
That's
the black man has never been recorded to have just one woman.
Right. Well, I think there's some actual facts we can look at on that. Monogamy has failed for the white man in America.
But this is like saying it's okay.
It's not me saying it's okay. This is how they're living. I'm giving you the history of what their life is. Black men haven't been waiting on me to tell them it's all right to have more than one woman. Neither have white men. This is just what they do. I'm not talking about fornication and adultery. I'm not talking about one-night stands and running around rampant with other women. That's not the kinds of, when I say more than one woman relationship. I mean that before we came to America, our men had more than one wife and family. And we were satisfied with it because we had not met the monogamy idea. We had not met the American white woman who, insists on certain kinds of values in her man. We had not learned envy and jealousy. All right, after coming here, those kinds of ideas were bred into us because of society and the mores that the Americans made up here. And so then we started to have problems with that. But I think that since it is apparent that most of them, not all of them, it's certainly up to the man, do love more than one woman. I got tons of mail. A lot of black men write and tell me that they have had two women for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, and they can't even get the women to speak to each other. Sometimes they have two families,
Would I want
two sets of
to, would I want to talk to a woman who's sharing perhaps the bed and the money and the social life with who I would deem as my man?
If you want to deal in reality, and if you are not insecure, and if you don't think that robs you of something, you would want to know them. If he loves her, you certainly should want to know her.
There are a lot of black women out there who say,
oh, I know they're mad about that idea. I understand,
That would never hold water.
Wait a minute, that's not easy. And that's a frightening thought to most of us. And I don't like that. I'm not for that. I'm in agreement with everybody else. Our men ought to just have one woman. But that is not the reality. I'm trying to get us to deal with some reality for a change. Stop dealing with fantasy. Stop dealing with television. Stop dealing with the imagination of how we wish things were. Let's deal with them how they are, what it is. Present tense. And
But
if we
because
deal with
that's
that,
happening
then
doesn't mean I have to like that or
no,
want
that
to
means
accept
that you can live in hell. That means you can live in doubt. That means that you can always be checking on your man. That means that you can be insecure and be, tearful. And that means you can be disappointed when you find out the real truth. And you don't want to have that in your life. None of us do. But in order not to have that, then we have to deal with some reality and recognize that men are not limited in the way that women are. Men are able to love more than one woman. I'm not talking about, as I said, just a random sexual relationship of fornication and adultery and all of that. I mean that there are many black men who have children by more than one woman. What is to become of those children? They need their father.
But if
to
you would
express
cheat
our
on me or
dissatisfaction.
walk out
Well,
on me,
see, that's what I'm saying. We have to get into definition. Who told us that was cheating? Where did that idea come from that that's cheating? And I'm not saying that a lot of men are not just running around. I'm not talking about that. But if a woman finds out that her man has been with a woman while she's been with him for 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's a serious commitment and relationship. And if it hasn't taken anything from me, if I'm not going short of anything, and if this is what he thinks his responsibility is, then what kind of hell are you going to go through to prevent that? Since we cannot stop him, we have not been successful. The white woman has not been successful in stopping the white man from having another woman. They call them a mistress. We pick up a lot of that terminology. But a man who has 2 women, that's not necessarily a mistress. That's just his other woman. Now, we got 2 choices. We can be the woman or the other woman. We don't have it, those 2. Now, I know we don't like that. I don't like that, But that's the reality of our life at some point. Now, it's up to the man. But every man doesn't want 2 women, but those that do, they're going to do it.
what about our morals and our religion?
Whose religion? Whose morals? Not our religion, because we're not practicing the religion of black people anymore. That was taken from us. We don't have our morals anymore. That was taken from us. So whose idea are you representing when you stand up for those values? Not ours. Somebody else's. Some other nationality. And it may work for them. But it doesn't work for us.
I get the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, there's so many points on that joint to tackle. But I'm gonna let Dwayne go ahead and throw the first punch.
All right. So as far as the video is concerned, she did bring up a lot of points, especially when it comes to polygamy, when it comes to let's just say everybody in a polygamous household is working. Economically, it would definitely pan out. I think in her case, sometimes I do get a little insulted by the caricature that she's painting of all black men, as far as that's concerned. Makes them all seem like special needs children. He's like, oh, they just can't stop fucking, so you might as well give them.
Isn't that the case for a lot of them?
Well, I mean, I can't attest for any other man. It's not the case for me, and it makes me look bad. So if I'm going outside and people are assuming that of me.
No, but how does it make you look bad though?
Well, in the sense of where, like, there was whenever somebody meets you for the first time, they look at you through the lens of the collective. So when they look at you, they're basically looking at all black men. So if you're believing that all black men are going to cheat, are going to do certain things, now over time, as they know me, they begin to single me out and be like, okay, well, you don't do this, you don't do that. So, which is fine, and I'm able to heal that. But as a father with sons who have to go out into the world and find mates, and I still hold on to the idea I happen to like black marriages. But if they're going out there believing, I've had women come up to me, they would see my wife on Facebook. He's like, I didn't know you married a black woman. I'm like, which is, I mean, you have to deal with that. People are going to make assumptions of you at some point. But I'm saying, niggas ain't helping me. I'm just, they're not helping me. But, but that being the case, that's my first point in it. They're painting a caricature of black men as if we have absolutely no self-control, that we can't keep it to one, and that we absolutely have to, have more than one woman in order to even think straight. And I know that's true of some. I know, I have uncles that have multiple children by multiple women. I have an uncle that has 5 children by 5 different women. That's just how that works. And that's what we've grown up with. And that's how, a lot of times.
So wouldn't you say that that's pretty rampant?
No, I would say that was rampant with him. But I also know people that have been with one woman for 25 years and have
That's not an issue. So you're talking about percentages, right? So rampant would mean like.
Oh yeah,
it's a
no,
significant
definitely. It is.
number
Yeah, it is significant.
of the population.
It is significant, but
So isn't that all she's saying?
yeah, actually, that is what she. No, that is what she's saying because she did
you're
say.
making it personal, but she's not saying Dwayne Hill. is
Well, no,
out
no,
here
of course
doing
not.
this.
But I'm saying,
She's saying that what she was saying
Uh-huh.
is that black men do this just like white men do this. She
Mm-hmm.
literally said that. She said
well, and she
white
also
women-
said it wasn't all.
She said, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
That's
Yeah,
obvious.
she's
So
right.
like it's not to say that. So it's not a personal attack on you, and you shouldn't feel any way because she's pointing out the fact that there's a significant amount of black men that do this.
Well, yeah,
That's
but
all she's saying.
no, but what I'm saying, most of the time when people explain things, they don't see nuance. She brought nuance, but most of the time
But you said she wasn't helping you by painting black men in this way.
no, I'm not.
I
No,
don't
I'm not.
think she was
No,
doing
no,
that.
I'm saying niggas aren't helping me. But I'm saying I wasn't
talking about
speaking.
her, though, right?
No, I wasn't speaking about her. Her explanation was balanced because she did say, not all people are doing this. There are going to be some people that are for it, and there are going to be some people that are against it. That's fine. I have no.
So
I have
yeah,
no
that's
issue
what
with
we're
that.
trying to talk about.
Yeah. So but that's I guess that's one point that I would definitely be against. But I know in my head that there would be a certain way for polygamy to work, and I know that it can work in certain instances. But a lot of times when I was going down that what was it the black polygamy thing on Instagram, some of them seemingly worked. Others seemed to be led by lust, as if if one wife is mad at me, then I can go to the other. And I don't know if that's a good way to do relationships.
I wanna jump in just real quick.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of times, and I heard you say this several times, and I want you to clarify it, right?
Okay.
I think a lot of times, the minute you hear polygamy, you attach lust and self-control. Why?
Yeah. Why?
No.
Because is it just about sex? Because if it's just about sex, men been having sex.
Right. No, I'm not saying.
Regardless.
Like
So-
she even specified, right? So
Right.
She was like, she's not even talking about the dudes that's going out and wilding.
Right,
and
right.
Just having random sex with
Right.
random women.
Yeah.
But
She's talking about men that are in committed relationships.
right. But every time anybody, and you said it like twice, right? So it's like whenever you say polygamy, they go, "Oh, sex, lust."
No.
So how is why did you come from that perspective?
No,
first?
the perspective that I was coming from, I was looking because, and this is what I'm saying, nuance we don't see sometimes. So when I opened my statement, I said, when I went down the rabbit hole looking at the videos, I saw some of them that looked like it worked, and I'm also saying that there are certain ways that polygamy can work. I'm saying that there are also people that are doing it from a lustful aspect or a lack of responsibility to the relationships that they have with those women, saying that if one is mad at me, doesn't matter because I always have another one. Which in that case, it will not work. Just like what the lady said there, there's a certain way that you have to do polygamy. You have to basically treat that polygamous relationship as if it's a monogamous one with two people. Like it's just basically you have to,
You have to take care of. If you have to take
I
responsibility.
would say, you got to take care.
and take care of
these
them.
people do it in different ways. I know countless people, like, okay, in the islands, guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody here got some island background.
Except for me.
Bro, this was the way.
Mhm.
What are you guys talking about? This is the way.
Right.
Like everybody that
That's
came
why we have so
before
many
us
uncles
lived
and
like that. It was
and
normal.
and brothers we don't know about.
Yeah.
You know,
And
yeah.
you only find out when your grandparents die or you know what I mean? You got brothers over here, you got cousins over here, whatever. Like that's how that stuff works. It was normal. It was accepted. Nobody tripped. It was just what it was.
Some people trip.
Yeah, some people actually.
Some
did.
women trip.
Yeah. Like you
And
know.
this is how
They
since we're
dealt
talking
with it.
islands, this is how witchcraft gets started.
Oh,
All right, well, let's not get into
wait.
We're not gonna get into that. We're not gonna go there.
Wait,
We're not gonna go there.
I didn't do it this
Wait,
time.
how you gonna say that?
Hold on. Let me just address Matt's point.
How you gonna say
Matt,
that?
Matt, you said that some people trip. Okay,
Yes.
we can take that. We can accept that.
Mm-hmm.
However, in general, in the Caribbean, this is something that's understood. Like that's why I'm singling out the Caribbean because everybody knows this. If I talk to anyone in my family, like I talk to my uncles and the history of the family, and they're like, yeah, this is normal, bro. That's how they do it down here in Grenada. That's
But
how they do
just-
it in Trinidad.
But
bro.
just
It's
because it's
the
understood
way.
or normal doesn't mean that people actually agree with it.
Everybody was cool. It was the way.
No, not everybody
it
was
is.
cool with
Go ahead,
it.
go ahead,
That's what I'm trying to say. There was some women that were not cool with it. I actually have an experience from my family.
Yes. Okay.
From another woman who
but
was
what
not
I'm-
cool
but
with
Matt,
it.
But Matt, okay, those scenarios exist. There's gonna be scenarios where someone's gonna get upset and not like it. But I'm just saying it was, in general, at some point in the past, an accepted way of life. In general, we're talking. I can't speak for every single individual in every country. Like
We understand slavery
what
was
I'm saying.
accepted.
That's
Slavery
the
was
point.
accepted, but that doesn't mean that everybody agree with it.
Yes.
You now have a lot of people who said, "Oh, the slaves, they thought it was a great time."
Yeah, but
no,
these
it was
numbers-
not.
But these numbers aren't equitable, bro. These numbers don't equate to each other. So
No,
it's
but
not
they
like-
do
so
equate. They. I bet you, if you
same
talk,
thing as the
I bet you,
people.
if you talk to the island, the women from the islands, would they
I
say?
guarantee you.
Will they say, "Oh, this equates"? I totally agree.
Yep. I would
with
tell,
every-
I can
no.
tell you from my personal experience in talking to family members.
Not the side chick,
I just came back.
not the side chick.
I just came back from Grenada. Back in the day, bro. That's just the way it was.
We understand that's the way, but like I said, just because it's the way doesn't mean that every man, woman, and child
Bro,
agreed
nobody's
with it.
saying that every man, woman, and child agreed with it, Matt.
No, but I agree with
we have
you
to give
that it's the
credence to what
way.
it was.
No, I understand that. I understand that. But
is
what
the-
I'm
is
talking
the-
about
is
is
the-
the agreement.
is the argument agreement or the fact that because it's the way of life, it's accepted? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
so
just
what-
because,
what's
like I
the-
said, just because
what's-
it's
what's-
accepted doesn't mean that people agree with it.
Right, but
Like I said, like I used the example of slavery. Slavery was accepted.
There are women. I've heard women said, "Well, I knew what it was, but I didn't agree with it." Right.
Right.
But they left. They still live their lives.
They had to.
regardless, and
Their
they
whole
stayed.
lives,
Right.
they
No,
didn't
they didn't have
say
to.
a
They didn't have to
word.
because everybody has a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
They made a decision to. They didn't have to.
That's the.
They made a decision to because here's the business decision. Here's the business decision. You're being taken care of.
Right.
And I've heard women, elder women talk about that. Listen, I'm being taken care of. In this instance, ignorance is bliss, right?
Because they had to accept it. They were
Right.
It's like,
But what I'm
it's
saying
like
is,
I have to accept it.
what I'm saying is like, when a woman says, and I can't speak from a woman's perspective, right? But I could only speak from what they're talking about or what they said to me, right? If they're saying like, okay, I have to accept it because we knew this was the way of life, right? And this is how it was done. But they also made a business decision. So I'm not also gonna give them the excuse of not saying I can walk out of here.
But it's the
if I so found it egregious and I didn't like it, they also made a business decision to say, well, you know what, I'm gonna stick around, regardless.
But why would you stick around? Here's the reason why.
That's the question.
But,
So,
but let's
so agreeable-
let's look at the islands though.
Okay.
Okay, how many jobs were available for women in the islands? If I know that this guy is going out and being the breadwinner, I'm gonna stay on the account of these kids.
Right.
I got kids to raise. I got kids to feed. I don't agree with this, but I have to accept it.
So circumstantial.
It's
right?
circumstantial.
So, but you still have a choice though.
Yeah, but that choice becomes harder when you remove yourself and your kids from the situation. Now it's hard because again, how many opportunities were available for women who were growing up in the islands during those
I agree with
times?
that. No,
You know
that's-
what's funny? I do agree with that, right? But what I'm saying is, regardless of all that, right? Even today, you still have a choice.
Yeah. Now, well,
still
right,
have-
right.
If you if you find it really egregious, you still have a choice.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
most times a woman will make a business decision. We'll be like, listen, yeah, I don't like it, but the good outweighs the greater good outweighs the greater, and they'll make a decision to say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna stay. Right.
Yeah,
but it's what I'm saying. What I'm trying to get at, the point I'm trying to get at to open the flow a little bit more is the fact that when we say like, yo, they didn't agree with it, in some form of instance they did, because if you make a decision to stay, you agree with it.
There's some people that definitely agreed with it, and there's some people who definitely didn't agree with it, right? We can all agree to that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Right? But this was a way of life that, okay, I guess the what I mean by saying that specifically is that it didn't have the repercussions that it would have today in this society. You know what I mean? Like with all the advances we've made, culturally and whatever. Like women can do anything that they want to do. Freedoms that have been allotted are amazing, and it's great, and it's made great strides in that, right? And it's just like okay, I don't know, Ricky, you got a job, and I may have a conversation with you, and you may tell me, yeah, I like my job, it's cool, yeah, I love it, I love going to work every day. But if I have another conversation with you, and I'm like, yo, but wouldn't you like to make this? You could make double if you was doing. Yeah, I would definitely want. Of course, like given the opportunity,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, if you come to some of those women, but like, yeah, if I could just have one guy and he could just keep. Sure.
Yeah.
They would. I'm sure almost everybody would probably
Would prefer that. Right.
But it's like circumstantially, like you guys spoke about, like back then, this was just a thing, and that idea, her point that she was trying to make is the idea of being upset about it and like not having it that way and fight. This wasn't even a thing. There was no place to go. It wasn't a thought. It was everyone was in the same mindset. Like everyone was on one accord, as the Bible says. You know what I mean? That type of vibe. It was just, it was just the way. And it's not until like certain like time passed, people came to America, whatever, we're here, cultural differences. It could be like, why am I settling for this? And then the ideas start to come into place. I'm not making a judgment on right or wrong. I'm just saying it's disingenuous to not act as if that people accepted this wholeheartedly back in the day. It was accepted and still is today.
Well, I mean, in most cases, especially talking about the islands or maybe 30 years ago in America where women didn't have jobs and things of that nature, they did it out of necessity. What I'm saying now it's not really necessary for a woman to take on a mate because she's making her own money.
Yeah.
So in that particular case, if they're in a polygamous relationship today, it's because they just really want to be.
Yeah. That's
so
exactly my point.
so that's so I can I can understand that. But in most cases, especially in back then, and then taking the point of men are going to just basically have a bunch of sex anyway, but that's just for some people are totally for monogamous relationships. So if polygamy is to be explored, it'll be explored by those who just really want to do it and feel that they have
I think that's definitely one of the things that makes this
polygyny. That's
a difficult subject, is the fact that of course we're all men and we're discussing it from, we're trying to see the woman side of it, but it is something where I feel like that is probably what's going to be most controversial, is the idea that of course a woman given options would choose this,
right?
Even back then, right? So to Matt's point, it's like they're agreeing, those who do, because there's not much of a choice.
Right.
You're being put between a rock and a hard place. Like you could do the thing you want to do, like feel dignified by being able to be in a relationship where you have the person, like that's what it would be, or you could provide for your children,
right?
That's
not a choice.
So that's not really a choice.
Not really a choice.
It's a choice, but it's not a choice,
right?
For some people, they may look at it that way. Also, some people, especially back then, they may have come through the idea of let's just say they inherit this type of lifestyle. In other words, their aunt did it, their mom did it, so who am I to try to change this thing? This is what I'm gonna do. That's what I've had modeled for me. So of course, so if you're talking about like back in the day, nobody was having a problem with it, it's probably because they never explored anything different.
Right.
And of course, rocking the boat in any culture is gonna cause pain.
Yeah.
And nobody wants that pain, especially if it's gonna, you're gonna be facing that pain yourself.
So then culturally, if we're speaking of American culture, then
right.
What is American culture?
What
okay.
you saying for just 1 second?
Okay.
Because I just want to tag on to what you said, Rick.
Okay.
That's a great point. So, what this lady, by the way, to the video is the lady that brought this up. What her point was this: yes, there were cultural differences. Were there reasons for why it was that way? Certainly, you guys just said some of those reasons. Those are all valid. What's her point that she's trying to make? Her point is this: that it is possible to accept that life.
Yes.
It's a choice.
Yes.
And what is happening, she's trying to show what I think she thinks is the greater evil, which is the breaking up of families, which is kids without without their daddies, fatherless homes and stuff like that, and the enormous problems that come as a direct result of that. Whereas if you were just cool with it like you used to be, she's saying she doesn't like it. You don't have to be super happy about it. You could just, for the greater good, so to speak, just be cool with that. Like, okay, he's gonna have that family. I'm not gonna raise hell, because the hell is what causes the hell. It's not necessarily the fact that he has another family somewhere. It's the response to it.
But I think it's kind of like short to do that because, of course, I'm using knowledge that we all have right now as far as a particular video. But I think the circumstances do matter as far as those children. In other words, if these children would be left without a father because a fella went outside of his particular domain to go and father some kids somewhere else, and now we're saying the female in this situation must now accept that there's another family, then I feel like that is kind of weird.
Yeah, we would all agree. Let me just pause you there, because she addressed that. She's not talking about those scenarios. She would agree that that's wrong and that's a bad situation.
But that's mostly what people in the West are talking about.
That's what's going on. This is a problem.
It's
definitely a problem. I think everybody here agrees with that. But she's talking about, let's call it the ideal scenario.
Right.
Let's just coin it that. The ideal scenario would be, so the man, he has his family here. He's able to take care of them financially, whatever. He can completely take care of his family and every need that they have.
Right.
He has another family someplace else. He's able to do the same. This woman A is not saying I'm missing anything because of woman B, or woman B is not saying, the same thing. As a matter of fact, in probably most situations, they probably don't even know about it. So ignorance is bliss. That's another conversation. But the treaty.
Yeah, but that would. But again, that would bring across the idea of distrust, right? Like you cannot establish a relationship based on distrust. So in other words, it seems like it would have to be. It seems.
I will argue that. You can't.
You can have a solid relationship
while and there's distrust.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
okay.
Distrust or distress?
Distrust.
Distrust.
No, it's not going to be a good relationship. It's just going to be a relationship.
No. Continue.
Discussion.
Okay.
But I would say yes. If you can have a commitment that's so strong that regardless of distrust, I will make this work.
And okay, so
you know who's good at doing that? Men.
But that's not who we dealing with. The multiple.
A lot.
No, but I'm saying
they've committed themselves to this.
Oh, of course. Well, yeah. We can do that, but
I'm a man. I'm just gonna
right. But we're.
I don't care if she cheats.
I get you.
This happens. I don't care what.
Yeah. No, but I mean, but we're not the multiple we're talking about. We're talking about multiple women and one man. So in that case, we have to talk about the women's idea of how they can deal with distress. How do women treat? That situation where there's distrust.
What she's trying to say is it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be a scenario of distrust.
Right. It doesn't have to be.
You could just be okay with it.
Right. But in today's society, even if you wanted to explore that, there'd be a way to do it. It wouldn't be, I have my family, I can take care of them. I go over here, make a family, and now let's make that work. You see what I'm saying?
I know people that do that.
But I'm okay, even if it is. But is that the ideal way to go about being
and also,
polygamous?
I think
I don't know about the perfect.
No, but that's what I'm saying. We have to figure. We do need to figure. But we would have to figure that out. We'd have to say, how should that work? If you were to do it,
I would assume, Ricky. Like with anything else, it's a relationship. So it would be tailored to each particular.
Case, yes, but I think we can make some generalities.
All the people look, like I got a friend of mine. They're super polygamous, and they do whatever, right?
Right.
They have a lot of fun.
Okay.
Other people, and they're totally cool with it, and
right. So they
accepted that idea.
Right. So they come together. There you go.
So she's saying if the woman accepted it,
right,
the hell would not be there. Because he's already accepted.
But it cannot be a behind the scene, after fact. That's what.
Let me jump to that.
Go ahead.
Let me jump to this question right?
Yeah.
Like there are a lot of men, a lot of them, right? that struggle with this issue, right? And the tag we put to them is, oh, you're an adulterer, you lack self-control, and you do all these things, right? But they struggle with the fact that these conversations that we're having right now that they're not having, right? That there is like biologically, whether you want to say I want to act like I have self-control or not, you want to bust several nuts, bro.
Absolutely.
Right.
Oh yeah. I would never.
You want
to bust them in.
You want to, and then given real talk. Given the opportunity,
What to do?
given the opportunity, you would.
Yes, you would.
Given the opportunity, given the right circumstances, the right opportunity, you probably would.
Probably,
right. Now, a lot of times when that happens, the stigma comes in as like, oh, you are a cheater, you lack self-control, like she said. Where that word cheater come from the first place? You know, in the first place, you're a cheater, you lack self-control, and you're an adulterer, right? Okay, cool, right? I think those arguments are an escape or an scapegoat to the real issue at hand.
Okay.
You have massive amount of men that are not in relationships, which is why you have massive amount of men that ladies or women, I should say, that are single. We are not having this conversation as to what it really is. You know what I mean? Like, you have pastors, you have like people of faith that you say, thus says the Lord, and that says all that, right? But that behind the scenes was like, listen, man, you know, I need more than one. I need two. I need three, right? Because
How many
there's
we know like that, Space?
a bunch. Because
How many we caught, Space?
A bunch. Because there's this thing that happens. I'm gonna tell you what happens, and I want to throw this out there. There's this things that happens when a woman's body change, or they emotionally not there. They're not giving you sex.
Okay.
So this is about sex.
No. I'm not. Now I'm talking about sex.
Okay.
Right. Because I'm talking about a man's appetite to have sex versus a woman's appetite to have sex. Right. We all know the emotional and the thought-provoking and foreplay that a woman needs to have sex. We all know as men that some of that we really don't need. We're ready to go at like right now. You know what I mean? So there's this discrepancy between like a woman having to say, I have to prepare myself for my husband to have sex based on his appetite. And I'm not gonna say that all men have the same appetite. All men don't have the same appetite, right? Some men can just go 1 day a month. Some men can need sex every day, right? So now you deal with the issue of compatibilities at hand. Now you have all these things where there's a big discrepancy between the woman's ability, most women's ability to have sex at a rate that a man needs it. So therefore, here comes the man deprived of all that, and then he has to exercise self-control. He has to exercise all this stuff because he has to wait on her
It comes off like something is wrong with
to
him.
be ready, and now something is wrong with him. So then instead of having a conversation, what we say is something is wrong with him. Instead of having an honest conversation about like, yo, what is going on, right? Because we know you have the urge. We know given the opportunity, you would do it, right? So what is happening between this woman, right, saying like, hey, when I feel good, when you wash the dishes, when you treat me nice, and when you do this, and he's like, okay, cool, I'll do all of that because I love you. And then here comes the other woman that comes along that goes, I don't need all that. I just need you right now.
But I think
You know what I mean? And then boom, here comes all that stuff that happens. And then the quick thing that the church and all of us saints do is like, oh, he's an adulterer, he cheated, and then we keep having the same conversation over and over and over again.
Space that would happen in I'm talking about a true polygamous relationship.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm saying a monogamous relationship that's actually polygamous, but they just don't know.
Well, right, but I think
that's exactly what I'm saying.
I think truth telling would be the issue, because if you sat down, if you from the beginning said, listen, and not a lot of people do this, especially when they're going into marriages, especially in the church. When you're able to have the conversation by saying, listen, this is what I want, this is what I'm into, you know you're a polygamist from the beginning.
Well, that's not exactly true. I'm not talking about a man that's a polygamist that used to say, I'm a polygamist. I'm talking about
But you
the nature of polygamy when it comes to sex.
right.
Yeah, because
But you know you- but you know you-
like just decide I'm a.
But they know they
Yeah, no guys come out and be
no,
like,
but
"Oh, I'm a
saying-
polygamist."
Okay, no.
We don't say that. We just are that
Not to use the scientific term.
by nature. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not to use
Okay.
the scientific term. I'm saying you
Okay.
know from the beginning that you like multiple women. Does anybody know that?
No.
Everybody is just the
But
way
it's not the conversation. All right, let me see if I can be more correct. A guy don't wake up and be like, "Oh, I'm a polygamist."
No, that's
you
not what
don't.
I'm
You
saying.
don't. You don't say that.
No, okay. I'll tell you what.
No- nobody says that.
So
Okay.
when I got married,
Yeah.
I
mean-
had already been with multiple women. I knew I
don't
could
have
be
to
with
make it-
multiple more.
You
no,
don't
why
have to
not?
make it- you don't have to
I
make
knew
it
I could be with multiple
personal. All right,
more,
right.
but I chose at that point to be with one. So up into the last 15 years, that's what I've done. I know I have the ability to be with more. I know that I have to stay away from a couple of women because I know if I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, I could be with more.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just I chose at that point. But I'm saying, you know what you're going to do. Like if first time a woman says something wrong to you, be like, oh, if somebody comes up with a better offer, I'm going to have sex with that girl. If we knew that from the beginning, and most of us do know, you have like with polygamy, with monogamy, honesty is always the best policy. So if you know that you're going to be out there, if you know I got to go out there and do some, and I think the main thing is the lying. Don't lie about it.
No,
because you have women that are down for that.
That's not the point I'm coming from.
Well, no, that was my point.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't the point I'm saying in terms of like.
Oh, we got somebody in the chat.
Oh, somebody.
Oh, that's Nat.
Oh, it's Nat. Okay, hi Nat. I'm mad that y'all are still talking about this. She says,
This is the finale.
real talk. So much
Nat,
of the generation. Real talk. So much of the generation before us who were cool quotes with it are messed up and raised up another generation with trauma as well. We really need to stop talking about how things were back in the day and deal with what's in front of us today. That's a very good point. Many of us don't have healthy relationships with just one person, let alone trying to have one with someone else. Oh, laughing online. But the women also has to be deprived of her emotional needs, which was the point that I was going to bring up. Thank you, Nat. You brought it up before I could.
No, what I could jump in on that, right? The reason why we keep repeating the same conversations, Nat, is because we've never talked about it. We are kings and queens and brushing things under the carpet. Like that hard conversation, we don't have that.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it keeps coming up.
It's always swept away.
It's swept
Nobody
away,
wants to go there.
and then we don't want to talk about the real things that hurts. You know what I mean? And if you don't talk about it, unfortunately, we're gonna be talking about this for another 100 years until it becomes something that we come to a thorough understanding of it through different perspectives, through practice, through conversations like this that we're having, right? And get to an actual understanding, acceptance if need be. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's just like that's the reason your point is evident. The reason why this conversation is happening is because we don't talk about this.
Okay, so to Nat's point, because this was something I was going to bring up. A lot of times when people bring up polygamy, polygyny, because that's dealing with the men and two women or multiple women. Okay, so they can take care of the women. They have the financial needs to be able to take care of both families. The question, where do their, I guess, emotional and mental needs come into that play? Because if you have more than one family, there's absolutely no way that you can be in two places at once. So when it comes to the regular day-to-day rearing of children or, emotional needs of the spouse. So basically what we're saying is it's almost like they're a married single mom in a sense, because they're able to, they're taking care of the children. You've given them money to do so, but they don't have that, emotional support that they would have in a
I can
monogamous
answer that.
relationship.
Is everything in your life perfect?
No, but I can do that.
Okay. No, I'm getting to a point.
Yeah.
Just follow me.
Okay, go ahead.
So,
Yes.
there are things in your life that's not perfect, right? And I'm sure there are things that you have to deal with that you wish were better, but you deal with it anyway because it just is what it is, right?
Right.
Okay. So we have the ability to do that. Nobody here is promoting like you said it's polygyny, right? When it's a man.
Yeah, it's men. It's polyandry if it's one woman and two
whatever
men.
the heck it is.
Oh, that's what
But
it is.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
like anyway, my point simply is this: I'm not trying to promote polygamy per se, or polygyny or whatever,
Right.
right? But what I'm trying to do is point out how people do it successfully, and they are happy with it, right? Like, this is also a thing. There's many cases where it ends up happening in monogamous relationships, and people find out and they're upset, and it creates a whole big thing. The original topic is this lady saying that there was a time and there was a place where it was okay. The point of that is not to go back in time, Nat, by the way. It's to make the point that we have the ability to be okay with this. So if people, she's just suggesting the idea that if you were to be okay with it, you will not have the hell today. It would just not be there.
But that's
Like,
kind
you
of
understand
selfish,
what I'm
though.
saying? Like, it won't.
That's very selfish.
No, well, I'm not saying it is or isn't. I'm making a very specific point here. I'm not even saying that it's necessarily good, Matt. Because, I'm not into polygamy. All right, there you go. I said it.
Well, no, I'm not talking about your point.
I'm sort of playing devil's advocate in a way, but it's like I want to be fair to the other side, because I know people. Okay, I have a friend, right, and he has 2 wives. He lives with them both, and he has kids with both of them, and he sleeps with them, whatever. And it's a good friend of mine. I ain't gonna say his name. Y'all can figure it out.
Yeah, it's cool.
And he everybody is cool with that situation. They all want it. They're all, you know what I mean? This is today. This is not back in the day. He has good money. He can do whatever he wants and stuff. He takes very, very good care of them. They live in a mansion in the hills and stuff, and they're chilling. And the kids are happy. They have the best of everything. He's very well to do, and he's like, dude, we're happy together like this. Like, we get it. The 3 of us, we just get it.
Well, no,
And
I
it
can.
just works. So this is like the point to take from that is that is achievable. So to look at it as something that is necessarily like a bad thing for a woman necessarily shouldn't be the case. It should be looked at as, okay, if it's not for you, it's not for you. But that doesn't mean that we can't give credence to it. It doesn't mean that it can't work. It can't even possibly be a good thing for some people. Like, is that a possibility?
No, yeah, no. I said on the onset, yeah, it's definitely a possibility that it could work. But I'm saying, here's the way that I believe that it could work. And this is, I'll go with this. You have your wives living in the house with you, and you have all of your children there. And there is a sense in where you're able to quell jealousy, and it's easy to do, as long as you don't try to play up or try to favor one wife over the other, where when there's feelings of jealousy that crop up, because it crops up, we're all human. It's not just you going there, but the rest of the wives saying, no, you're fully loved, you're fully, as long as we're all human beings, we all want to be fully loved, we want to be fully seen, and all of that stuff. And at the moment that doesn't happen, that's where the issues come in. So that can, if that can happen, that can polygamy, whatever, it could definitely work in that particular situation.
I agree with that, but I also think that it's almost impossible to avoid jealousy that somebody might feel, because you might argue with this person one day, and then the other wife comes in and just happens to be the saving grace of that day, and then she looking at you like, oh, see how you treat her, you know what I mean? So I think that's it's going to happen within that relationship.
But
I would imagine it happens,
but you can do damage control though,
even within a polygamous relationship, right?
Right.
But I'm agreeing with you, but I'm also jumping to the perspective of, like, I think that it depends on the 3 of them ability to understand that, like, okay, we're going to have these moments, right? But the greater good of what we're trying to accomplish oversees this little moment of disagreement that we have.
But
because in a monogamous relationship, you have jealousy.
You have that too, right?
Well, right, but I'm saying they're not actually. It's a different type of jealousy. It's usually outside
but it's jealousy,
of the.
bro.
It's
It's
usually
still
out.
there.
No, I'm saying there's levels to jealousy. Yeah, I'm saying there's jealousy where oh, I don't like the way you looked at that IG page, or there's jealousy in where,
And
all
that
right,
could
this woman is
cause
in
the
my house.
destruction of that relationship.
Well, yeah, no, we're not talking about destruction. When I'm saying jealousy, I'm talking about jealousy between two sister wives. There's a totally different. That's a totally different thing, rather than somebody outside of it. But you know, so
Yeah,
and you have
it's-
to, and you also
it's difference in the sense of proximity, but jealousy is jealousy.
Well, yeah, but that
All
proximity
right, so
means something.
my point is this. What I'm trying to say is that like you cannot avoid jealousy in a relation just by having a monogamous relationship.
No, I'm
Like
saying
jealousy will rise up, and like,
Okay,
there are
so wait,
men
all right.
who are in a monogamous relationship who don't behave
I'll give you
properly.
an
quote, unquote,
example. I'll give you an
right?
example.
But hold on.
Okay.
There are men who they don't behave properly, quote unquote,
Right.
and they're always, I guess, causing their significant other to feel bad. You know, to feel jealous because maybe they're super flirtatious or this whatever it is, or maybe she has her suspicions, and this causes a huge problem.
Right, but that's not okay.
Whereas where you have three people who know what it is, they've entered into this thing knowingly. Like this is something that you know. It's not like something you definitely should not be doing. You should not be flirting with that girl. This is wrong. This is. I accept her. I came into this agreement. It's completely different.
Right, but what I'm saying is when you start talking about favoritism within that realm, so I'm within the household, I'm talking about division of wealth, division of things of
Well, yeah, you
things when
can't. I mean,
so,
you can't
so,
do that. You can't.
yeah,
do that.
so that's what I'm saying, and also, and I think this was the other point, and I think Nat brought it up, but yeah, this is another point too with the video where it's almost like Ali was saying, listen, if you believe this or if you took this in, there would be less hell. I'm saying anytime, as Nat said, anytime you try to get somebody to go against their own conviction, it's always going to fail.
Oh yeah, she says it's not complicated. Just find someone who agrees.
Yeah, just find somebody who agrees.
That's simple.
Yeah, that's simple. That's,
and
you
why
know.
try to tell
True.
someone to go against their own conviction? I don't think that's what the lady was trying to.
Well,
do
no,
in the
it
video.
sounded
I
like
think
that.
She was. Well, I would put it this way. I would say she was trying to suggest another option for women. I don't think she's trying to just out here convince women to just like, okay, you cannot be in a monogamous relationship. It's not going to happen. You know, get rid of that idea. I think she's just trying to suggest there may be another way out of this hell,
Right.
which can be a saving grace out of some serious hell. If they could just have a change in mindset. Like, you know what? This is not going to be an issue for me anymore. I've done that in my life with things. I've had issues, right? Like, I'm in music and I run my business, and I used to have issues with like certain people that I work with, and like this particular person was causing a specific problem. So I was like, look, I know that this person is always doing this, and this is like their negative point or something, right? So I just said, okay, I know that do I want to not work with them any further, or do I want to continue to work with them? I had to make the decision, right?
Right.
So if I'm going to continue to work with that person, I said, look, I know that they're going to do this, so I'm going to do things so that that issue that person has cannot affect me anymore, or as badly and cause a big rip. I'm already expecting it, and I know what it is.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like, I think that type of level of maturity and stuff just lends itself well to people who want to be in any type of relationship.
Yeah, that's a good point. So as far as I'm concerned, polygyny can work. It can work under certain circumstances, you know, and you have to mitigate a lot of things. So it's basically
to admit that polygyny can work.
So,
ladies and gentlemen.
yeah. So it's basically like having a monogamous relationship with two women. Basically, that's how that works. Now that I've said that, under the same circumstances, like I'm talking about, under the same circumstances, everybody agrees. Polyandry, does that work?
Man and a woman and two men.
Yes.
I'll tell you why.
Why are you leaving?
I think the rules of engagement for men and women are different.
Pat got this.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it is. The circumstances are different.
What are you talking about?
All right, a woman handling two men,
Okay.
right?
Right.
She's not biologically possible to handle two men in a bedroom.
What, in a day? I know women that can do some fucking in a day.
No, I'll bring it right. I'll bring it right to that. She's not.
She's not? How you figure?
She's not. She's one
Ever heard
woman.
of gangbang?
Okay.
She's. Oh man.
That's what I'm saying.
That's exactly.
No, no.
Matt.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about one instance. You're talking about a life lived
Yeah.
with two men.
Right?
No.
She can't.
Her body can't.
Her body can't.
If she gets pregnant by one of them,
You
she
can
gets
keep,
preg-
you can keep boning up until the third trimester.
her body cannot. It's biologically not possible for her.
Okay.
She's not built like us.
All right, so-
you can go and just go straight women and women and women and women. A woman can't do straight men to men to. There's a point she's gonna have to stop.
All right, and
And what I'm saying is there's a point, and that point is very obvious because that belly get big.
okay, so here's
Whereas once that belly get big, you as a man can keep going. She can't.
All right.
Biologically, it's impossible.
okay.
She cannot do it.
I know. Here's the thing, and this is
The rules of engagement is different for men and women.
This is the point I wanted to get to.
I'm sorry.
You want to go first? Go ahead.
What if she decides, okay, no kids?
Yeah, she can
even
decide not to have-
if she decides no kids, Matt, right? Yo, this lady said something to me one time. She was like, "Listen, whatever's taking the punishment the most, right? Let's go. Let's talk about that. Right? Gets worn out the quickest.
Okay.
It's in your body physically, right? Those who's dishing out for the those who's dishing out versus those who's taking get more the brunt of the punishment. So in essence, your body physically shuts down. It can't take a lot of men getting inside of you all the time. You just can't.
But
your body makeup is not for that.
What about this? What if she's not in this polyandry relationship for that reason? Because
Okay.
maybe it's not about that.
Okay.
Women are different. So maybe it's about something else. Maybe finances come in it.
So
Maybe because we have men have their reasons for entering into a polygamous relationship.
there
But
are
now the women might have their own reasons.
So if it's a matter of finances, right? Then now you're talking about something a little different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There are women out there, right, that can have two men and it work. And as you saw online, right, it's happening.
It wouldn't be men's space.
It's out there,
Yeah.
right?
now
But
we hear
if I know a man, right, and the idea to fight for territory, right, a man, you know what I'm saying? It's very difficult to think of a man's man, right, gonna be in another relationship with another man that is a man's man. Very difficult.
To be in another relationship with another
man with we partner up to be with one woman and we both are man's man.
All right, so here's my point.
but that already happens.
No, it does happen.
Here's my point.
No,
Here's my
it
point.
happens. It's been happening since the dawn of.
It happens, and I questioned,
This is so ironic. Hold on. Let me say my point. Hold on. Let me say my point. Here's my point. My point is a lot of times when we start having these conversations about the sex drive of women and things of that nature, we get to this whole pseudoscience type of, women can only have sex like once.
No, that's not what I said.
You're saying that there's a point where they have to stop and they cannot handle two men.
They can have sex all they want. They can go crazy and have sex all they want.
Okay.
But what I'll tell you right now, there is a point in time where they're gonna have to stop and they won't be able to have sex.
Well, no, that's the same thing with us.
I'm saying to you right now,
Blue pills
if
sometimes.
I'm a man and there's a woman and we're like, all right, let's go.
Hold up, Nat.
I will outstand her every single time because if she doesn't watch her body, there's so many things that she has to watch out for that I don't have to watch out for. It's just biologically, that's just what it is.
Yeah, but that's the reason why you're in the relationship. She's in there for something else.
Well, okay, so now, no, I was talking about his point. I was talking about his point.
No, I'm saying she could be in a relationship with other stuff. What I'm arguing is that that sex drive that you're saying that's not there or can be there or has to stop at some point.
Eventually, eventually, the nature of a woman will kick in, just like eventually the nature of a man will kick in.
Hey, Nat said,
Eventually,
I think it's interesting that a group of men have decided that women can be in a polygamous relationship, but can't handle a relationship with two men. The irony.
Yeah, that's what
well,
I'm saying.
listen. I stand on what I stand. Okay. Let me break it down simple, right? There's women that out there that be like, yeah, man, I'm a dude. Like I could do what a dude do, right? And I looked at them, I'm like, all right, whatever, man. Just keep you can believe whatever you want to believe. I know eventually your nature is gonna kick in. And it happens
Like
100.
she's gonna stop and make you a
What?
sandwich.
No,
like
no, it's not that she's gonna stop and make me a
like,
sandwich.
"Ooh,
it's,
I gotta
it's
make a
because
sandwich."
it's because you can't avoid your makeup. You can't avoid the nature of who you really are. You can't avoid it. You could try to say you're a man. You can try your hardest to do
no,
that.
I'm not saying-
eventually.
We agree with that. But
I'm not saying
Eventually-
she's not saying that she's a man.
not
She's
playing
just
that
like
game.
a woman
No,
that happens to like a lot of sex.
What I'm saying is, I'm not saying that there are women that loves a lot of sex. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that on a technical perspective, right? Her body can't handle. Our bodies are different than hers. Her body can't handle what you can handle. That's what I'm saying. From the technicality perspective, she can decide to do whatever she wants. I can't stop her. But what I'm saying is, technically, what you can do, she can't do, and what she can't do, you can't do.
Yep.
And there are rules to that.
Understand that we're different.
We're different in that.
But that doesn't stop the fact that if it's okay for a man to have two women,
I'm not saying that it's not okay for. I'm not okay. I'm not saying it's not okay.
We have to establish
I'm not
what
saying it's
question-
not okay that a woman cannot have two men. That's not what I'm saying at all.
That's not what he's saying.
Have at it. Go crazy. If you could have two men. If you could accept two men.
So they can.
That's not what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying is when it comes to the idea of when you're talking about sexuality, right? In that capacity, a woman's ability to handle the sexual capacity of two men.
So Space, can I paraphrase a little
Go
bit?
ahead.
I think what he's trying to say, guys, is that like if a woman wants to do that and gets, and there's a couple men or three men, however many men agree, and if everyone agrees, like Nat said, it's fine.
Yeah.
They all agree, whatever, in either direction, right? Whether it's one woman with several men or one man with several women. But just as we discussed the problems that can arise in what is it?
polygamy.
It doesn't matter. Just whatever. There's so many.
Right?
Right.
With a there are issues that will rise up on the other side too, and they're different.
Well, yeah, but
that's
different
what we're doing.
issues.
So Space is just bringing up some of those issues that are different.
well, I know, but
From the other side.
what it sounds like Space is saying, what it sounds like
No,
Space is saying
I could clarify. Go ahead. Go ahead.
is that
Try it.
women don't have the ability to
man up, basically.
to have those types of relationships.
What I'm saying is oftentimes when I talk about this, right?
Right.
The comment becomes, and I saw this, like, men are immature. That becomes the comment. Right, when we say this,
say that in the chat.
and what I'm saying is, Nat, what I'm saying is our makeups are different.
Yeah.
In every single way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Every single way, shape, or form. So what I can potentially handle when we're talking about the dynamics of a polygamous relationship, right? Let me tell you what I probably can't handle. The emotional side and the moodiness of women
Yeah.
Okay.
and how they change, right? So that aspect would be a challenge for a man. Versus if it's a woman, she's good because that's her territory. When it comes to a sexual nature of it, there are some things I can handle. She won't be able to handle it. That's what I'm saying. There are different dynamics that she's not going to be able to handle. I'm going to be able to handle. And ultimately, if you have two men with incredibly high sex drives, that's going to be if you can do it, have at it. Right? But I could imagine the level of issues where one of the men will want to bring in another woman as well into that relationship. There's a high probability that will end up happening.
Same thing could be argued for men too, because
Right.
sometimes we got little blue pills when we ain't really doing what we supposed to be doing. Sometimes
Wait,
and that happens.
wait.
I don't.
No,
But-
I'm not talking about blue pills. I'm talking about. No, I'm talking about our different capacities as different beings.
Generally
Right.
speaking, here.
You know what I mean?
That might say something to whether one of those things could be more successful than, like, as far as polygamy.
Right.
Well,
I'm not polyandrous.
But a woman, okay, but maybe the woman who is gonna pursue a polygamous relationship is not looking for that kind of guy. Like, let's look.
Yeah,
okay,
that was the point you were making earlier. man.
Right. Like, let's be for example, how many? Do you think that? Okay, I'll just put this out there. Do you think somebody in the status of like a Rihanna or Beyonce can have two husbands to
Yes.
to
Maybe.
fulfill her need?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. And I say that maybe. I don't care if she has the money
say
or
yes.
not. I don't think she has the money or not. I assume you're talking
mean
about
to tell
money.
me-
I
you mean
assume
to
you're
tell-
talking about money.
I said status.
I assume
So
you're
that
talking about
includes
money.
money.
Money and power, yes.
Money and power, sure.
So she's
Sex-wise, no.
But see, but that's what I'm saying. She's not pursuing it for.
But that's my
They
point.
might not be pursuing
She
it
doesn't
for
have to
sex.
pursue it for that. Whenever you get with two men, that's exactly what it is. Our language,
but this is the
our
thing.
language of communication is sex.
All right, but this is what I'm talking about. If you're pursuing with two women, you're gonna get the emotional needs. It's
Right,
it's
right,
back and forth.
right. No, I agree with you. But what I'm saying is, if like she could have all her desires, all she wants. That man wants booty, and he wants booty frequently.
And that woman wants
That's
cuddling.
the bottom line.
The woman wants to be cuddled. She
okay,
wants
so here's-
emotional.
And that's
She wants
true.
to be
And that's what I'm saying. She would have a hard time with two men. That's not their nature. That's what I'm saying. If she wants this emotional thing, try getting it from two men. You can't even get it from one.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If they're in
But
it,
like I said, it depends on the status.
they're
So
in it-
even with the status, Matt, listen, two men,
It
a
depends
woman,
on the status.
a woman needs the emotional and everything that we're talking about, right? The part that we don't need, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Husbands and wives have trouble getting that out of their husbands right now.
Yeah, man.
So you try to get two men to give you that emotional? Oh, come on, bro. Like, okay, she's gonna have a hard. All I'm saying is, it's not that she can't do it. She could do it. Have at it. Do whatever you want, ladies. What I'm saying is, try two men having those things. You're gonna run into a whole lot more problems.
So wait,
Alright, so
so
a
but
lot-
then,
a
but
lot-
then hold
I
up,
said- I said
hold up.
the- I
So
said
when that-
woman
when-
with status.
a lot
since,
quicker.
Okay, so since it's easier for us to have sex, that's our love language according to you. So then, if you're in a so if you're with two women, and it's basically your love language is sex, what happens when both of them don't give you sex at the same time?
The poly women.
The women, like if you're a man in a relationship the relationship with two women. Let's just say that there's a point they're both pissed off at you and nobody's giving you none
that would
ever.
What do you think you do? What do you think you would do?
What do you think that
would you
guy's gonna do, Dwayne?
What do you think he's gonna do?
Number 3.
Yeah, no,
What is he gonna do?
Number 3.
But
Dwayne, what is he gonna do?
no, and that's why it wouldn't work. That's what I'm saying.
Number 3.
What is he gonna do, Dwayne? No, you answer your question. You answer your own question.
bro.
No, and I'm saying that's that's in that part it wouldn't work because I'm saying unless you at some point if he's all about sex and that is lust, if he's all about sex, there's going to be a woman calling and it's saying, "Hey, girl, he's cheating on us both." Like, it's just going to continue to be. You're just going to continue to add on. It doesn't stop. The only way that
women,
it could
more
work.
problems.
The only way that it can work is the same way that it will work in a monogamous relationship. That's your woman. That's the one that you stay with. And then if you start going out and trying to live your lusts out, it's never going to work.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
why.
okay,
Because
okay.
if that doesn't happen, that means like you failed.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a failure.
You failed as a
Okay.
polygamous guy
Okay.
because the whole point is if
See,
one is
but
not
that's
All right.
the thing.
So
you failed. You're a failure.
If you say you fail,
okay.
Matt,
You failed, yo. Because the whole point is, if one doesn't work, you go to the other one. If both ain't working, you failed.
No,
Yo,
you don't fail. You don't fail. You know why you don't fail? You know why you don't fail?
Why, how?
Because polygamous is not just about like status. That's just what you do.
No, you just explained the
if
second
them
part.
two want to bug out, you're gonna go find you a third one. Yeah. Whether you see the whether two or not,
Right.
that's
Yeah,
what's
but
gonna
the
happen.
point is you failed.
And if that third one
failed
doesn't
that
act up,
polygamy.
you're gonna go find you a fourth one.
All right.
And if the fourth one,
Okay,
the
so
cycle's gonna
let me
just keep going.
let me
man.
pull the married men.
So polygamy doesn't work.
Okay. Okay.
Polygamy doesn't work. So let me pull the married.
So it doesn't work.
You're a
That's
dumb
not
person.
cool. That's not cool.
You're cheating in a
Alright,
polygamy.
so
It failed.
So again-
how you cheating on the polygamous relationship?
Yeah, that's
Damn,
a
bro.
failure, yo. That's a failure.
Yeah, it's like they're cheating on us both.
Exactly. That's a failure in my book.
Yeah.
Okay, so before you make your point, I'm just thinking about this. So at the end of the day, we're saying that if this is supposed to be successful, then you can't have lust involved.
Right.
So the reason why the man has two women cannot just be for sex.
Okay, gentlemen, how about
see that?
open relationships,
What about?
Open relationships.
right? So you have. I mean, it's just a hop, skip. It's just another.
I think it's the same,
Another
pretty much the
skip
same
of the-
thing.
of the-
It's not. Open relationships are totally different. Where in the sense of you have this, you have a relationship with someone, but they allow you the freedom to have sex with other people under certain rubrics or
I
guidelines.
wouldn't say it's totally different. I mean, because polygamy is a step in that direction already.
Well, no, polygamy is you're supposed to be with those two women,
It's a
and that's
step, it's not
yeah.
two. It's not
Or
necessarily.
one, well,
It could
3,
be
4,
12.
5. But I'm saying those are your women,
could
and
be
you can't go
20.
outside of that.
It could be 20, and I could pick up another one,
Well, yeah,
and I
but
could pick up another one.
You talking about polygamy or open? Open relationship.
Well, I guess polygamy too.
but I'm
The
saying
only
what-
difference between a polygamous relationship and an open relationship is that you're not putting any type of title on the people that you're having sex with.
Right.
In an open relationship,
right, and you're
So
not
I'm
you're
just
not
saying,
financially
in a
responsible for
polygamous
them either.
relationship, you're almost there. The only difference is you saying I'm committed to all the ones that I'm committed to.
Right.
But I could always add on a new one and be committed, quote unquote, to that one, right?
Yeah, there was a guy with what, like 5 or
That's
6?
the real literal difference.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, for people in like open relationships, like, what's the problem there? Like, everybody is cool with it.
Well, no,
Everybody's
yeah. If
okay.
you're in an open relationship, those are like usually those aren't people that you bring on. It's not. Those are people that are like you just have sex with that person, and usually you let the other person know, and they'll give you certain guidelines. And there's crazy rules for some reason, like you can't.
Everybody does it differently.
Everybody does it different.
Yeah,
I'm just
everybody
saying,
does it different.
can't.
Sometimes
Dwayne, how would you do it?
Huh?
How would you
how
do
would-
it?
I would not at all.
Dwayne, I'm Dwayne.
Not-
We talking, Dwayne.
Why you setting them up? Why you setting them up?
No,
Why you
no,
setting them up?
real shit. No, I'll talk you. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you why it wouldn't work, and it's not for.
No, but that's not what I'm saying.
No,
How would it work, Dwayne? How would you?
There would have to be no
set it up?
guidelines.
There'd have to be no guideline.
Yeah, like there's guidelines like you can't kiss them in the mouth, can't eat booty, stuff like that. I need to do.
So if Dwayne
of
is
that.
going to be in an open
Yeah,
relationship,
but you got to be respectful. You can't be just be eating any booty, bro.
I know. That's why I wouldn't do it then.
hold on, my ears.
You need
Hold on.
That's why he go to polygamy booty. You don't go to open. You don't go to open.
Hold on, hold on.
You can't do what you want. I don't want it.
You can't just be out there eating.
Wow.
Why we can't? Why we can't?
Open is
Bro, you don't
open.
start having all types of things growing.
that's like-
If it's open, it's
growing
open.
out the side of your mouth, bro.
Sometimes.
about the-
No,
You know what I
let me tell you something. It's a proverb. Let me tell you a
Wow.
proverb. Let me tell you a proverb.
Wow.
Sometimes you got to kiss the hooker in the mouth. That's all I'm saying.
What?
I'm
See,
playing.
I was gonna.
Wow.
That's a
I'm playing.
problem.
These are jokes, people. Jokes. We're joking now.
Okay, hold on.
I'm in a monogamous relationship for 15 years. Okay, stop.
It's an old
Wait.
joke.
Okay.
It's an old joke.
What up,
It's a joke.
Ricky? What up?
Okay. No, I'm just very surprised at Dwayne right now.
Are you surprised, really?
I'm very.
Are you
I
surprised?
did not
really?
expect this.
So,
Listen.
guys, is the consensus? It seems like. Oh,
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure about Matt, but tell me what you think, Matt. Like, is the
No, I
consensus
don't- Matt
that,
is there.
outside of our religious convictions and stuff, because we're Christian men, right? It says something, and if we believe it, you believe it. If you don't, if you disobey it, if you obey it, it's up to you, right? But outside of that, can polygamy work?
No, hold on. I like what you're doing, but I don't think that needs to be said.
Okay.
I don't think that needs to be said
Right.
because
How come?
there's nothing in what we believe that says that it is wrong.
Oh.
There's
Wow.
I don't think it's there.
Ricky did it.
Talk about
Ricky
it,
did it.
See,
Ricky
this
did it
is
this time.
No, but go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying
Ricky did it this time.
Ricky.
No.
Oh, here we go.
Hold
here
on.
we go. Here we go.
Hold
Here we
on.
go.
This is exactly what you want.
Here we
Hold
go.
on.
Unleash the Dwayne.
Hold on.
No.
Let me finish. Let me Hold on.
Ricky,
Hold on.
expound.
Exactly. That needs to be expounded upon. Okay,
Oh.
so I do believe that according to the creator, there are circumstances that we have seen based on the book where this was allowed. Okay, it was not illegal, it was not a sin, it was not oh my gosh. It was actually allowed for particular reasons. Okay, so in that way, knowing that history, how it's written, we cannot say that there is a complete, it's completely wrong in and of itself. But I do believe that if we today, you know what I mean? It's like if we put ourselves in it today with our society and the way we would be haraming the thing, right? And so on, then yes, in that way it would probably be deemed incorrect because again, at the end of the day, The reason why I feel bold in being able to say that is because there's two tenets that I always hold. One, concerning the love that he has for mankind, and the fact that he judges the heart of people in terms of what sin actually is. Sin is not just what's written on the book. Sin has to do with your intention and your heart towards a person, kind of like how we judge people in the courtroom. You know, if you meant to kill somebody as opposed to you premeditated, there is something for that compared to you accidentally kill somebody. That if that can be proven, you did kill somebody, but if you accidentally kill them, there's something for that as opposed to you premeditated that murder. Okay. So in other words, if a person was to somehow end up being polygamous today, the way we would have to say that is correct or wrong depends on those factors that we cannot see.
Okay.
So to say that according to our religion or whatever it is incorrect, that would be incorrect to say that.
Okay, so I have a very, very short, for the sake of the conversation, very, very short answer. In order to say polygamy is okay as far as the Bible is concerned, couple things. One, you would have to ignore the way that polygamous relationship, even though they were in the Old Testament, how much they had failed and more of a didactic situation where they were trying to teach you a moral of what not to do. And also we would have to, the Bible that we look at or that we ascribe to has 66 books. We have an entire New Testament where in Matthew 19, Romans 7, 1 Corinthians 7, we're all saying that, yeah, it was done this way, but you are to be, it's supposed to be one wife, one husband until they die. And when they die, you're free to marry somebody else. Right. So that's the reason. Okay. And that's my short answer. That's it.
Okay.
So
we can go on to something else now.
That to me sounds like a matter.
Don't do it, please. Don't speak.
That to me sounds like a matter of. I'm gonna do it. That to me
Release the Dwayne again.
Yes, that to me sounds a matter of okay. If you like that verse, if you should lust, then marry. Right? That Paul says. It doesn't scream to me as like, yo, it's wrong. It's saying for the sake of not having chaos, don't do it.
I'm curious.
But there's nothing that you're telling me that's saying that it's saying dead wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, are you saying that, Dwayne?
If you're saying for the sake of chaos, for the sake of community chaos, look, it's better that you don't do this because this is what it can cause.
Much different.
No,
right?
I'm saying
versus that. Are you saying that this is what God is saying Himself?
I'm saying as far as the scripture is concerned.
No, I'm saying to you.
It's God's word. It's God's word.
I believe that the Bible is God's word, so that's what I'm going to default to if you ask me that.
Right.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, are you saying is that's what it's saying? This is polygamous is a sin.
I'm saying, yeah, it only gave you.
No, is it a sin? Yes or no?
Well, yeah.
Under every circumstance.
I never saw that.
No. Hold on.
You asked me the question.
So that's
I want to answer you.
I think that's what Space is asking. Under every circumstance that it could exist, it's then a sin.
It's an argument from silence. I'm saying that if the Bible says that it's supposed to be one man, one woman until for life, and you absolutely cannot remarry.
For life.
You absolutely cannot remarry until your spouse dies. So if that's the case, you're not adding on another one until the spouse dies.
What was the circumstances of that, though?
That was a circumstance. That was the teaching.
Who was talking about it? What was the circumstance?
That was okay. And in this case, we got Matthew chapter 19 where Jesus was talking, and then we have
so
Romans.
Jesus said that.
Right, and then we have Romans 7, and then we have 1 Corinthians 7 where Paul was talking.
Okay, what was the circumstances of the community, of the people? Why was that said?
Let me see, why? What do you mean?
Why was it said?
Well, in Matthew 19...
It's not good enough to just tell somebody, oh, this is what the Bible says, right? Because now we have a bunch of people that doesn't know the story.
Well, no.
If you're going to do that, right, everything is contextual, right? So what was the context of that situation?
Okay, well, the first context was...
made somebody say that you should stick to one woman.
Yeah, right. In Matthew 19... Jesus was talking to the Pharisees, and they were asking, is it all right to divorce your wife for any cause.
And that's not polygamy. That's just
No.
saying if you marry, divorce your wife.
Right. No,
that's
but
not polygamous. I'm talking about polygamy.
No, I'm saying you're adding on.
But what I'm saying is, it's two different things,
Okay,
Dwayne.
dude.
You're saying marriage. Listen before you answer, because I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna go throughout the whole Bible.
No, just.
But what I'm saying is, listen before you answer. You're talking about marriage.
Okay.
I'm talking about polygamy. Tell me where the polygamy aspect was in existence.
Okay.
And
You're
give me
trying
the scripture to
right.
that.
I'm
don't
saying
don't
1
tell me marriage,
Corinthians
because
7.
what you're saying is marriage.
I'm saying in 1 Corinthians
I've read
7.
it too. And what's that dealing with is
Okay,
marriage.
no, sir. You're
okay,
telling
so
me,
then what is it dealing with?
sir.
What is
Stop
it dealing
talking
with?
so I can answer. We can
Okay.
we can sing together, but we can't talk together.
Right, but what is it dealing with?
It's talking
Is it
about
polygamy or
Sir.
marriage?
Sir.
Okay, go
Is
ahead.
polygamy adding on more than one wife to you? Yes
Okay.
or no?
Okay, so let me say this, right? What is it talking about, Dwayne? Marriage
Sir.
or polygamy?
I'm asking you a question. Is polygamy adding more than one wife?
What does it say?
It's saying that you cannot marry again unless your wife is dead. If she is not dead, you do not add on another wife, which means from an argument of silence, they're saying already by definition, you cannot be in a polygamous relationship because you've married two wives.
Dwayne, that's not what it said, bro.
Right?
No, I'm not.
You're saying it didn't say you cannot be in a polygamous relationship.
Sir.
I've never saw that in the Bible.
Sir, I
Please
know
educate
you're
me
looking
then.
for the word polygamy. I'm saying,
but the thing
okay,
is, I'm
then
being,
speak to me.
I'm being
Speak to me.
specific, Dwayne.
No, I know. So am I. Speak to me.
I'm being
No,
specific.
speak to me. I'm saying in when you're talking about polygamy, is it adding on more than one wife?
No. That's not what I'm talking
Is
about.
that what
Dwayne.
it is?
I'm
Are
gonna
we talking about polygamy?
I'm going to deal with your technicalities. You're telling me
That's
this
not
is what the Bible.
technicality.
Yes, because you're addressing me with what technicality of what the Bible says.
Okay.
And I'm going to throw it right back at you. The technicality of what the Bible says. If you're going to come to me on that point, then show me polygamy. Because you can't. You can't.
It's not. It doesn't.
Because you can't, Dwayne. You can't.
What
You
is,
can't.
okay, what's the definition of polygamy?
You cannot.
What is the definition?
You can tell me what the definition is, but what I'm saying is,
Okay.
if you will address me on the technicality, I'm gonna throw it right back at you.
No, it's not a technicality.
Yes, you're saying
Because-
if you can't. Listen, you're saying if you can't have, if you add another wife,
practice of
that it's polygamy.
Polygamy is a custom of practice of having more than one wife.
We're
or
talking about
husband
a
at the same time.
technicality.
That's not a technicality. That's the word.
My point is, you see how silly that sounds, right?
No, but that's not a technicality. That's what it says there.
What
You're
I'm
trying
saying
to
is,
tell me.
What I'm saying is, Dwayne,
Uh-huh.
it's silly. What I'm saying is this: you approach me on a technicality. The Bible says if you have more than one wife, you address the whole polygamy aspect.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, if you're going to come to that point, then show me where polygamy is in the Bible specifically.
You're talking about more than one wife?
All right.
Yeah, sir. It's like that's like explaining. I don't know, some other word that's not in there. That's I'm saying.
But you're doing that too.
No, I'm saying if polygamy is having more than one wife,
But that's
the
what
Bible
you're-
is telling you cannot have more than one wife
that's what
unless
you're-
she's dead.
that's what you're doing
so,
too.
No, that's not. Because no, it's
Dwayne,
not.
You are adding to it too.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
you
saying
are.
what it actually says. Would you like me to read it verbatim?
Dwayne.
I've done that on this podcast a lot.
Yes, you have. You have.
Okay,
Dwayne.
so, and I'm saying, and I told y'all in the chat, I said, listen, if you're going to tell me something is in there, and you're telling me, well, the word polygamy is not in there, but I'm saying the definition of polygamy is having more than one wife. If that is the definition of polygamy, you can't
Okay,
do it,
what
sir.
I'm saying to you is, Dwayne, you do know if you're going to come through this whole technicality phase, right?
It's not technical.
Yes,
it's not
yes,
technical.
yes.
I can read words.
Yeah, Dwayne, it's not about you can read words. You're making it offensive. I feel like you're taking offense to us.
No, I'm not.
This is not an offensive thing. What I'm
Okay.
saying to you is a discussion that we're having. And to be honest with you, when it comes to the Bible stuff, you're so dogmatic about it, right? I sometimes wonder, right, how much validity is in what you actually know versus what you're trying to prove.
No, I'm not trying to.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like, because because the way that you're approaching it is like as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is no, it's not just as a matter of fact, because that is just Dwayne talking. We are in a podcast with a bunch of people listening or talking.
Uh-huh.
If you approach it like that, right, you become this person that lives in this box with no experience of what other people and other thought process are like.
Okay.
So what I'm saying to you is, bro, if you're going to approach me on a technicality perspective, then I'm going to say to you that, a lot of things that you're saying technically is not really in the Bible.
Okay, so
It's what you're saying
can I answer?
from your perspective and from your experiences from a child to as a man.
Okay, so let me
So in order not to do that, right, we open the conversation up so that we can talk about different things and different
No,
perspectives.
I get that.
Because what you think you know in the Bible, bro, it's not the end all be all. It's not doesn't mean that because Dwayne said it and that's exactly what it is because your interpretation.
Okay.
No, listen.
All right. Can I bring a little bit of clarity? Let me give you a different example.
Okay.
Since we're on this, maybe we can't do it because yes, that is not in there. Like you said, it's not. It doesn't say that is wrong. I don't think you will find that. Do you think
No,
you
I'm
can
not-
find that?
yeah, I'm-
Okay, cool. I got you. Now, I'm not saying that means something, but I want to give you a different example. Something we can all agree on. The Bible says murder is wrong. To kill another person is wrong.
Yeah, that's a
Correct?
1 in 10. Mm-hmm.
Is it allowed anywhere in the Bible? Did God command murder to happen after that point?
He didn't command murder to happen. No.
No, but I'm saying allowed it. Again.
No, people died.
Right,
yeah,
right. But I'm saying like the way it looks.
So-
you get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I know.
You get what-
Let
I'm
me
not
ask
saying
you this.
God wanted people to die. He does not
then,
wish.
So then here's the guy that never read the Bible, right? So let me throw this at you then. So
Right.
if that's the case,
Right.
so God didn't kill the people in the days of Noah?
That wasn't murder.
That's not murder?
No, it's not.
Oh, so then when it's God, it's not murder though.
No, murder was
okay.
for us. We're not allowed to do that. But
But God can kill people.
absolutely.
Well, yeah.
When he
that's his
wants.
will. That's his
so,
will.
So at his beck and
Absolutely.
call, he could decide to just kill
Yes,
people.
yes, he can.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
I'm just saying.
All right, but to get
So murder is only a human thing.
Well,
Yeah.
exactly. Because
Yeah.
we don't know how to do it right.
He didn't have commandments for himself.
No, I mean that though. I mean that. No, I mean that. I mean that.
Hold up. But let me just say this. Okay, go ahead.
Right.
Go
No.
ahead.
But Dwayne, I'm not cutting across you. I'm trying to show how your point actually works in reality. The thing here's where we need to go. Let's put another age into this thing. So we're saying that there was a point in history where it was allowed, it was not advised, but it happened even among holy men.
Right.
Okay. And then now we have the holy men and the holiest man coming along and saying, at this time, there is no need for that. That's basically what it is.
Right.
He's saying that circumstances no longer exist under which those things occurred. So if you're doing it today,
What circumstance?
the circumstance under which
One more time.
the circumstance under which polygamy was allowed in the Old Testament
Oh, okay.
in this day and age does not exist
Right.
as it was at that time.
Yeah.
So if you are to go about doing that, then there would be a question as to what your motive actually is in trying to invoke this particular type of lifestyle. That is what the Bible is saying. It's like from the Bible's perspective, it's like, why are you trying to have multiple wives right now? What is your intention? What is the glorification? And again, the Bible is about the glory. It's about God. I don't want to stick there, but it's about how does this exactly bring glory to God?
Good question. So my question is, do you agree with Dwayne in that in every circumstance, right now, today, in every possible circumstance of polygamy or polygyny is wrong?
Well, it's not, I cannot exactly agree or disagree. All I'm saying is, I feel like I am kind of copping out, but it's only because I don't know these situations. In other words, if there were to be a situation that did come about that were to be similar like it was back then it might be.
Interesting.
You see what I'm
give
saying?
An example of the circumstance.
Well, I think so we cheating, right? So so I'm cheating, right? So yeah, if you perhaps maybe, right, it might be permissible for a man if his brother, was to die at war and he was to take his wife into his household, if he has the means to do so, then perhaps that might be.
Yeah.
But is that something that we recognize in our lifestyle? And does that mean that does it also mean that he gets to have quote unquote sex with her? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well,
like all those become questions.
Well, no, yeah, but he's taking care of his brother's wife. Doesn't mean he's
hold on
having
one
sex
second.
with her.
Right,
Fine.
right. So, but I'm saying for a lot of people, that would be what that is.
Yeah, Rick. I have
Yeah.
a friend, right? Good friend of mine. He's a pastor, and he's African actually, and he was telling me, he was like, look, he was explaining to me how things work in his culture, and he was like, if anything happens to your brother, he said it is your it's your responsibility, Sean, you have to take care of.
Right. Right.
Any responsible, like, it's
And his
your
family is
job
whole.
to
Yeah.
do every single thing as if you were her husband, except
Right.
for sex.
Right.
Yeah, I can
Exactly.
I can
so
get
that's
that,
so
yeah.
that's what I'm.
I'm just bringing that up.
No, I got you.
Even today,
And
that's
so
what I'm saying.
okay.
So
So then good.
now-
So then that's kind of like where I am. I'm like, that's still him taking, that role
It'd be better to
of
go to
a
1 Corinthians
husband.
7.
But it's like, yeah, it's like that. He's still taking that role, but then technically it'd be like, okay, that's
So this brings up a really interesting
Yeah.
question. Then, is it okay to do that? Without it seems everyone would seem to say it's okay to take on a quote unquote wife as long as I'm not having sex with her. So
Man,
then is
in that in a circumstances in
My-
a circumstance
So I
similar
would
to that.
ask Dwayne this
I'm a-
question.
Right.
I'm gonna say this before Dwayne jumps in.
Okay.
Rick, my point in totality of the point would be all things are permissible, but not all things are beneficial.
Right. Exactly.
So it's not a matter of if it was deemed to be wrong. It's a matter of does it benefit your family? Does it benefit you? Does it benefit the greater good of everybody that living around
Everybody-
you?
well,
If
everybody involved,
if
first of all.
of everybody involved. Like, for example, I can't go to a woman against her will and say you're going to be in a polygamous relationship. Then that would be against her will.
Right.
But if we all decide that, okay, this is how we're going to move, and that's the thing that I'm trying to navigate and throw out there, that it's not a perspective of like, yo, you're wrong and you're deemed you're going to hell because of this.
Right.
It's a matter of like, it doesn't benefit, which is
Right.
the same concept when Paul was saying that it's better that you don't lust. And it's better that if you do lust, you marry, right? Not that because you should marry because of lust. It's that under the umbrella of not having this relationship be in chaos, right? Seal it with the umbrella of marriage, quote unquote, right? So then the whole point is like, it might not be permissible, right? It might not be like it's permissible, meaning like you can do whatever you want, but is it beneficial?
Right.
And that's the point I'm trying to make at the end
Yeah.
of
I think so.
Like,
I think so. And a good place to also, bracket. This is very difficult to do.
it's not for
Like
everybody.
that needs to be said. Like, this is very, I think when most people hear this, they're like, how the heck are you going to pull that off? Like, this is very, very difficult. You're making it sound like it's a very easy thing to do, just getting a bunch of lollipops together. Like, you know what I mean? But we understand that there's so much that has to kind of come together to actually make that actually be correct. Even in the circumstance that I'm saying where, you're bringing on somebody because your brother died. Even in that circumstance, there could be a lot of, stuff, because it's like, yeah, you agreeing not to have sex with her and all that type of stuff, but it's like, she's in your house, she's walking by, blah, blah. There's a potential for your previous wife to be jealous of that. It's very difficult to make it work.
I mean, unless they agree. I mean,
Unless she also has love for your brother and all that, a lot, which is, that's a lot to make work. So we have to acknowledge that and say that, and I'm like, some people are miracle workers out there.
Relationships are difficult.
Well, of course,
not
but that's what I'm saying. Like, you compounding it.
But Rick, that's not what we're trying to figure out.
No, of course not. No, I'm not even saying that's what we do.
Any type of relationship,
Right.
like, it's gonna.
I just want the little teenager who's gonna hear this to understand.
So, do you and Dwayne have the same view or not?
I don't know. I don't know what his view is.
I believe so.
okay.
I believe so. But
Dwayne
I
said-
just need
Dwayne
Dwayne to come.
No, Dwayne,
No, I need him
according
to
to
come
the Bible,
one-
it's wrong. That's
Okay,
what
so
I'm saying.
here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
go ahead, Dwayne.
If we're having just a clear conversation on polygamy, on whether it works based on a logical level,
Right.
I would say it can.
It can. Okay.
If we're trying to bring Bible into it, I would say absolutely not ever. But yeah. So that
Okay.
would be my thing. That's
right.
it. Very short.
Okay.
You're not saying absolutely
No.
not ever. You're saying there
No.
are special circumstances.
I'm just saying, well, first of all, I don't think it's probable that it will ever be allowable, because the circumstance under which I believe the Bible allows for it does no longer exist as in that way.
I would
So
agree,
in other
yeah.
words, it's like, what are we talking about?
So I'm saying, yeah.
possible
It is possible because he can do whatever he wants.
in all of reality.
Right. In all of reality, in all the possible.
Possible for that circumstance to exist.
It is. I believe it is.
Then in that case, and only in that case, is permissible.
Exactly.
Okay, I got it.
Exactly. There you go. There you go.
What is
There
the
you go.
circumstances, though? I don't know. I'm so confused. What is the
I just wanna
circumstances?
know
What's the circumstances by which it's allowed today?
circumstances like? Because you mentioned like the brother dying or something. Like
Right. I'm saying that would be, again, that's me though. You know what I mean?
Because
give
it's
us an
death.
example.
You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Right.
But also
Right.
in that
It's not
circumstance, but in that circumstance, they were talking about they talked about that in Galatians, or where if the widow, if you know, if you have a widow, if she's young enough, she should marry again, or if she's a widow that's truly a widow, she would go on the church rolls and the church would take care of her.
Right. There is such a thing.
Or the children, if they're old enough, they take care of the mother. So there's really no need to marry that person. It's not like it's not left
Yeah,
right
but
marriage.
You know what's
But the
funny?
church-
Because
but
all,
the
all
church,
those
I mean-
circumstances sound so ancient to me.
It does. It does.
Because
The church taking care of a widow.
Those circumstances that you mentioned it seems valid, right?
Yeah.
But that don't exist right now.
Right,
at
like the
all,
like if
by all
if,
means.
if I die, the church is going to take care of my family. I don't know.
Well, no, Tiny's young enough to marry again.
No,
church,
she's not.
The church can barely.
Whoa,
no,
whoa.
listen. An average church, can barely pay their rent. What are you talking about? They're gonna go pay. They're gonna go pay somebody. Please.
They have the roof fund.
They can barely pay their rent, bro.
The roof fund. The roof fund.
Yo,
The roof.
most churches, storefront churches, can barely pay their rent, let alone try to go take care of somebody's family.
How dare you?
It's not happening.
No.
Like seriously, we
that's so rude.
like our churches, most churches, and I'm gonna say black churches because we're black, right? We struggle financially.
No, they just give the love offering a one-time level.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, but
You know, you bring up, you know what that also means, Dwayne. You know what that also means for what you said. When those things are being quoted and it's being said, like, you know, the church should do this and we should do that, you know, as a community, take up this role and blah 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 and so on and so. It's like, under those circumstances, sure, but those circumstances do not exist for the most people today.
Rick,
they don't.
Sorry,
They
to,
just
to
don't.
belabor this point, but I just want to hear it at least one time. Give us one circumstance that you're talking about from the Bible that today, if it happened, you said it's not probable, right?
It's not probable.
It's not probable, but if it did happen today, it would be permissible in your eyes to exercise polygamy. What is that circumstance? Just one example.
Okay, so we're talking about taking.
I'm asking.
No, I did say, I believe if you in such a community as, you know, that were to happen, like your brother, right, was to die, right, and you decide to take on his family as your family and take care of them, bring them into your house, live in your house, raise his children like they're your children.
Yeah. So my friend, right, that said that to me, in his culture, where he lives, that's what they do.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm asking you, like, let's just say.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly fine.
Would that be okay?
Yes.
And he would take her on as a wife.
Correct. If that's I mean, again, because there are legal protections because of that and all, you know what I mean? Like if something was happened to him, then she would
Dwayne,
also.
You're saying that's wrong. Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying when it comes to people dying, of course there should be some care given,
Right.
If it's within our power to do so. If she's young enough, she should marry again, and if she's old, then you take care of her like a widow. I mean, who's trying to take down a widow like an old lady? But you know, okay, never mind. But I think in those cases there are other things in place without having to take on a second wife. Which I don't believe the
Again, but I mean,
Can we be
but
specific
okay,
about it?
but again, we do know that that's illegal in America.
yeah, it's illegal.
So I'm not saying that you'd literally do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm saying
Dwayne,
you can't literally do that.
But
What's up?
Okay, in that case, right?
Uh-huh.
So in that culture where I gave the example, right?
Right.
Where
Right.
They would do that.
Yeah.
You're saying that that's still wrong
Yeah.
to take them on as okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that is the hard stop for you two. Ricky's saying that and that's
Right. That'd be hard
okay,
stop.
okay,
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to understand. So you're saying like say like you had a brother but you're married. Alright, okay, I understand. Because to me, I'm like, oh, it was a death.
Yeah.
Like, what,
Now again,
Okay, I understand now.
like nobody else could. Like,
Yeah,
there's no,
I
like
wasn't-
again, there's,
okay.
there's no community. Nobody else could help her. Blah blah. All that type of stuff has to go on. You know what I mean? Today, there's a lot of layers to that situation today. Like literally, the brothers I have, if they were to die, there's a lot of things that would have to happen before I say, oh yeah, let me take them into my house.
All right,
There's a
so y'all
lot-
want to move on to the church? Not
Yeah.
being able to pay their rent now.
No.
No, but
The roof fund.
it's a roof. It's true,
The
man.
roof
Like,
fund.
yo, like,
Yeah.
listen, man. There's as much as we talk about all this stuff, like churches can't take care of people when they.
No, they don't. They
when-
don't. I
when
mean,
they
we don't have that. We
when
don't
they
have that.
when they have like a death in the family.
We
and
don't
all that
have.
stuff.
In fact, that's one of the.
Austin's church can.
No, but I'm saying like that's a lot of that's a lot of the conversation actually.
Even Austin church can.
Yeah, that's a lot of the conversation.
To do it though,
Yeah,
helps a lot of.
that's a lot of the
I
conversation.
mean, not all churches. Some churches can do that, right?
Right,
That
of course, they have
like
mega churches.
Mega churches that could do
Yeah,
that. I'm
absolutely.
talking about your average storefront who has people dying every single day, and then you want them to go pay somebody's family.
now
Take care of their family. They can't do that.
with the mega church, are they going to take care of an individual person?
And also,
I mean,
Generally not.
well,
No,
no.
generally not. They're too big to do
let
that.
me put it like this. So after I had left church for a while and I started going to home, I started going to home churches.
Okay.
Home churches usually, just like in the Bible, they didn't have a lot of people. They probably had like 6, 7 people.
Right.
Because it's a home church. Everybody sits
Right.
down, has tea. When somebody died, to take care of one person, 6 people can do that. Like 6 families can do that. So, I think in a lot of places, churches or storefront churches have gotten a bit too big for their britches. You can't afford that storefront, then don't do it. Like, go home.
Well, now you're talking about a whole different beast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
like
that's
a lot
what
of
it
times
is.
people they can't afford churches,
Yeah, you can't afford that.
and
shit. Go home.
under the pretense of faith, this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And I think that's the problem. That's the problem. That's what it comes down to.
Sorry, I don't mean.
Hey, the
listen.
pandemic.
Yeah, you do.
Right. And the pandemic closed a lot of churches.
You won, bro.
It's hard for me to say that, Matt. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be the guy to say under the pretense of faith. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a
Why
faith
not?
guy.
Say it.
But the thing is, it's like this thing about like, yo, we're going to get something we totally cannot afford, right? And we're gonna put the. My thing is, I get the idea of saying like, yo, I am going to step out on faith, right? Sure, do that yourself. The problem that I have is when you take it and put the burden on the members to say like, yo, y'all need to pay this rent, right?
Yeah.
Because I stepped out on faith.
Don't just.
And
give
that's
10. Hey,
my problem.
hey,
That's
10% is not enough. You gotta
that's
prove God.
exactly that's my problem. I'm like, yo, if you took a step out of faith as a pastor, right?
Hey, hold up. This month we giving 90 and we gonna.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
stop.
I'm still healing. Stop. I'm still healing. Don't do that. I'm still healing.
You should have
I'm
the
still healing.
business acumen.
Don't say that in front of
to
your
be able
kids.
to
Your kid will hurt you.
execute
Don't do
that.
that.
You can't be putting that on the members, bro. Right,
right. You gotta time 90.
and then get
for
mad,
yourself.
and then get mad when they don't pay, right? Yo,
Okay.
you just can't.
Listen,
Okay.
I'm gonna.
I see what you're doing.
You just cannot do. Yo, man, listen, man.
Man, that's
Can't
horrible.
do that.
That's horrible.
I'm trying not to go in, but
we
you,
all don't
you
wanna
just
talk
can't
about
do
it.
that.
We got.
No, I'm talking about it.
You just can't do that. Like,
Moving
yo,
on.
yo,
Nobody
a lot of
wants to talk
storefronts be
about
doing
it.
that, yo. Like,
Moving
yo,
on.
you be putting the burden on the members, man,
That's
and
true.
then, and then
That's true.
poor lady has got her like, her insurance money.
We'll move on. All
Right,
No, we'll move
and then here you are trying to take their insurance money from her, right? She can't pay her rent, man. Like, yo, if God gave you a vision and you're the visionary of faith, like, you should have some business acumen too. You know what I mean? To be
I
able
got
to
one guy on the podcast.
handle,
Yeah.
I totally.
No.
to be able to handle what you need to handle.
No, we get it.
You can't be putting that on the congregation, bro.
Go.
All right, cool. Cool.
Where's my
nice.
where's my Grammy music when they start
Very
to play
nice.
people
Yo,
off?
Space, why you don't got no choir, bro?
You know,
Sad violin. Sad violin.
Nobody saying amen.
No, amen. Amen.
Oh, we can't do it all together. Amen.
that's the only problem I have. You know what I mean? It's just, you know.
You sure that's the only one? I'm just.
Well,
No, there's others.
yeah.
No.
But
Yeah.
I've been out of churches for like at least a decade at this point. So
Yeah.
I haven't been back or gone back, so it doesn't hurt as much.
You're not a real Christian.
So I've been outside for a minute. So I don't so the
Wait,
say,
you've been outside for a minute?
yeah, I haven't gone to an
okay.
organized church in like
For a while?
I've been married for 15 years, so at least 8, 9.
Bro, we have so many things, man. We gotta get together.
It's
bro.
it's a lot. It's a lot to
it's
get
just-
together.
It's just be like, yo,
Yeah.
You know,
can't-
but see, that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
and it's the same churches that get on these mega churches for doing what they do.
right.
But these mega churches are paying things off.
Yeah,
Wait, what do you mean industry?
Point.
Right.
that's a good point.
You mean industry, like they
you're right.
have publications and stuff.
Yeah,
and
like the mega
television
churches,
shows.
for the most part, they got their act
How many
together.
Who's on them for that?
organizations does like Lakewood support? Like, you know what I mean? Like these big churches
Uh-huh.
and stuff, like they're able to help so many people,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know, to me it seems like one of the main points of having a church is at least help the community.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, that's always something that I've put, and I don't know if I'm necessarily 100% correct on that biblically, you know, but that's just honestly how I feel about it.
Mhm.
I mean, it just makes sense to me. You know what I mean? If you're gonna make this thing, and you're creating this organization, and it requires money to run.
Absolutely.
So you're asking people for money to run it. You know, okay, yeah, you're preaching and you guys are praising God. That's a given. But like, what more are you doing for, like, if you're not some kind of benefit to your direct environment?
Yo.
Well, here's the
question
thing.
the
Okay, I'll give you an example. And I know a lot of people don't agree with this guy in terms of his, I don't know, his teaching or his style, but I've watched. Sometimes you just got to do your research on certain people. Mike Todd.
Mm-hmm.
Mike
Is that the guy with the
Todd.
dreads?
Yeah.
No,
I know who you're talking about. I know
Mike
who you're
Todd, the guy from Oklahoma. Is it Revelation?
talking about. Revelation Church. Something like that?
No.
But I know who you're
The
talking
one in Oklahoma.
Okay.
about. My mic is off. Okay, there you go.
Now,
No, it's good.
he has his church,
Mm-hmm.
and it's I believe it sits in this complex or whatever. And he got in the call to just buy the whole strip mall area. Because you talk about business
I
acumen.
heard about that. Right.
Right. So now there's a bunch of different stores that sit in this same strip mall. Like I think there was like a IHOP or a AAA office. So all of these people are paying rent to him.
Right. Smart.
Right. But here's what he does. That money not only goes to the church, but it also goes back to the community. Not only that, this guy is also big in charity. I believe he also has a he gives back to these organizations like for autism. I don't know if one of his kids has autism, but whatever the case, he gives back to these charities. Like, we're talking like big donations. To me, I think that's again, I know there's a lot of people who disagree with his style, his theology, whatever, but when I look at his business acumen, to me, I think that's an idea from God.
Well,
That's just me.
That's also when you're looking at his usefulness and you're looking at his helpfulness.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Transformation
there's one
Church, that's
thing-
the name.
Transformation
transform-
Church.
oh,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
This
now
one,
we
like
just-
theology is one thing, right?
Mhm.
You know, we could debate that.
Right.
You know, but like, if we're talking about as an organization helping people, like this goes a long way,
It,
bro.
it does,
Yeah.
man.
We can
It
debate
does.
theology.
It does.
Right,
So
yeah, we
God
could debate,
knows,
but
you know
what
I
he's
mean?
doing,
Yeah,
to me, is genius. I was like, who would think of that?
Yeah.
Not only are you pouring back into your own church, but you're pouring back into your own community.
Yeah.
All right.
Pastor Steven
You know-
Sabiala, a good friend of mine. He's in well, not but in Africa, and he's doing that with Harvest Ministry or something. He's killing it out there.
Mhm.
Every dime that he gets that goes directly into the ministry. He's built farms. He got, and he's hiring people and people who don't have jobs and don't got
Right.
money.
See, that's
Working,
the idea.
he's-
That's how it should be.
He's feeding thousands of people, bro.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
how it should be.
Supporting
Yeah.
so many churches. Unfortunately, just a couple weeks ago, like this is a sad story. Like there was there's an attack on churches that were, I guess it's sister church to theirs or whatever, and this guy came and bombed the place. Killed,
Oh, wow.
Killed like a bunch of people. It was like somewhere in the teens, I think.
Wow.
People or some. Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, man.
And like it was his responsibility to take care of those families and pay like money. But you know, thank God he's able to do that, and he deals with a lot of churches and stuff.
Right, right.
Here and stuff. But that's what, like, aside from the obvious, preaching the gospel, the guy is sound. You know him. Dwayne knows him.
Yeah. I remember.
You know, like, he's a great guy, but he's doing all this actual work to help people, regardless of if you're in the church or not. You know, he's helping people, he's helping the community,
Right.
bringing water, bringing electricity. I mean,
Right.
he's done it all, man. It's amazing.
Well, I
can
think
really
that's
respect
part of that's going to be part of the mystery. The ministry, you would have to do that.
That's like the 1%, man. The 1% of churches that are actually doing that. I wish more churches would do stuff like that. Like for example,
But that is the point of the church, though.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna start some trouble.
No, that is the point.
Why am I still paying taxes when y'all got a tax exempt code that could make me go to Best Buy and not have to pay taxes? But I'm here serving in the church and I can't even get no tax break.
I think if you're part of the ministry, you should.
I am part of the ministry and I can't get no tax. I can't get no tax. I can't get no tax. Right? No, you see what I'm saying? Like there's so many benefits that you could be helping people do, right? But they don't do that.
Yeah.
Like if you're in the business of helping people, then they'll listen to what you got to say. It's a strategy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but if you're just coming up here, thus says the Lord every single day, and you do nothing, man, ain't nobody listening to you, bro.
Yeah, yo, you're one person.
Ain't nobody listening to you. Nobody cares, right?
No, it goes together. You can't. I mean, in order to have a great theology, you have to do what First Corinthians 13 does. It's like if I do that, I have not love. I'm like clanging sound. It's clanging cymbal.
Right.
You know, but I mean, the other thing is kind of jettisoning theology because we do good work. You should do good work all the time. But I know the Satanic Temple does a good work too. I've seen them do some really great things in the city. So, but it's not the same thing.
You're right. You know what? I was about to say this.
I would encourage them to keep doing that good work, though.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, they're doing.
I don't agree with them.
I mean, I don't agree with their message, but they're doing activism and doing all types of
right? I was
things for people to help people.
That's
I don't
crazy.
know, but if they are,
yeah.
I was about to make an example of a church that helped several families get homes, right? I was like, yeah, I know a church that helps several families get homes, but they're Asian. It's not us. So I digress. Sorry.
But somebody did that as an American, and they hate his guts. Creflo Dollar did it.
He helped people get homes
in Brazil, yeah.
Yo,
I
don't have a problem with Creflo.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who
has a problem with Creflo.
A lot of people have.
Oh really?
I have a problem with Creflo.
I don't have a problem with Creflo.
He got people homes.
Oh boy, here we go.
He asked for the plane, right?
Oh boy, here we go.
Because of the planes, right?
Here we go.
Because of the plane thing.
Because of the jet.
Okay, Sean, can you forgive him for that?
I don't have nothing to forgive Creflo of. I don't have a problem with Creflo.
There is there is. All right, let me just throw this out there, right?
And I think he was up there, and if you want to give him a plane, give him a plane. It's up to you.
Okay, but do you think? Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think he's deserving of a plane?
Well, he didn't have one plane. That was the point.
I wouldn't think of it in
that terms. Okay, good.
Yeah.
At least we're not okay.
Yeah. No.
Yo, let me just say this. Right? There is so many things out there, right? That like there are so many people trying to buy homes, trying to make their lives a little bit better, right?
Right.
And if the church played their card right and got their business acumen together, you know what I mean? For lack of a better word, they would do significant damage in the community. You know what I'm saying? In terms of uplifting the community. But the thing is, we're too busy trying to pay rent.
Yeah.
Right. So we can we can never like. Well, there's so many different things. Like I've seen.
But it's the way they're trying to pay rent.
Bro, right? if there's a way that a church can move that like anybody can get into a home within 6 months. Anybody.
Yeah. Facts. Yeah.
If they move like that, but they won't do it. Why don't they do it? People need homes.
Yeah, no, you're right.
People need to get out of projects and get into homes. Right. But I just don't understand why there's not enough thought process towards like, yo, how do I help these people better their lives? And as a result, I don't have to trying to like drag tides out of them, right? When listen, man, when you do good for somebody, bro, right? When you genuinely do good for somebody, they're just gonna do for you without you having to ask. And that's the ingredient that we're missing up in these small, like I don't want to say small, in just churches in general. Like if you pour into people, they would just generally give back to you naturally.
Well, they would have a better ability to as well,
and
right?
they will, right? Exactly.
Right, they'd have a better ability.
You won't have to ask for that.
That's why you should vote Republican.
If I don't have an overhead, if all of my bills are paid and I have no overhead, I'm not looking to be predatory. I'm giving you the word and help you the best way that I can. But because they're taking all these $1 million loans for stuff that they cannot afford, they have to make that mortgage. So it's gonna be predatory. They need you to do that. They need that year-end sacrificial giving so they can make their mortgage.
Listen, man.
And it's stupid. Like I'll tell people, I'm like, listen, you can't afford that church, dude. Stop it right now.
It's a lot of them.
Do it in your house. It's fine.
It's a lot of them. And you know what? It's too much pride to do it in their house, because for some reason they feel like they haven't made it.
Yeah,
and that's
the thing too.
Like, bro, just do it in your house. You can't afford it.
But
just
you're right. Can you imagine
stay home?
if the church controlled a lot of the real estate?
What I'm saying.
What you could do to the market?
Why aren't we buying real estate?
Yeah.
Like if I'm giving tithes, like yo, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm really into real estate.
No, because this church that's suffering. The real estate is the most surest market in the world.
I'm saying all these tithes can be purchasing real estate.
Right.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
I don't understand, man.
Yeah.
It's buy up land, build on the land, and then boom, here you go. You're expanding like buy land in different states, buy land in this, buy land in that. There's so many different ways. You know, go to Wyoming, buy up Wyoming.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things to realize is that even as a entity, the church was made in order to impact the community. That's one of the things that people fail to realize. Like that's the reason for it, and so on. And if that's not happening, it's like it's going to start off however it starts off, but it's going to die because it's not functioning the way it's supposed to function. If we did that, we would die very fast.
This is an interesting point Nat said. Yo,
that's all it is.
I got to throw this in there. I agree with you, Rick, right?
Yeah.
Yo, this is an interesting point. It might make us go over, but like, yo, a few things. The church was never called by God.
What?
Oh,
the church doesn't have the grace. The church is not equipped. Called by God to do what?
No,
That's an interesting point, right? What is that?
I think it's
explain yourself. Explain yourself.
And it's gonna. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Got you. Okay, all right. So then, that was just an interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know what she might mean.
Yeah,
because the church as we know it isn't the original iteration of what the church should be.
Right.
But
it's supposed to be that, like as far as people coming together for that reason,
right,
to bring glory to God and stuff. Like it's not necessarily that today. When you have a church, it's not necessarily that. It could be, hey, I have a vocation, I have to have a way to make money for my family, so I'm going to be a preacher.
Yeah,
that happens a lot. A lot of people are like, oh, that's a good way, And it's another hustle.
You're not selling drugs.
I'm not selling drugs. I'm in a church. Like it's another hustle in certain communities.
Yeah, it's basically the church was originally instated to gather the children of God.
Yeah,
it's just basically
for the purpose of doing such and such and such.
Yeah, but to gather them to feed them, like what Peter said.
Right,
like
and if you're going to follow the pattern, I think we did see that there was nowhere that Jesus went into anybody's house and didn't bring them some. You know what I'm saying? Bring stuff to their life that enriched them when he left. And he didn't see anybody that lacked anything and just I'm here, you good. No, he dealt with their issues. Even people coming to see him is like, I'm going to feed you while, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to feed you while you're here. I'm going to feed you spiritually and I'm going to feed you actually. I'm going to make that difference in your life and so on. So it's like, what? No.
Holy Ghost fish fry.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The best you ever had. The best you ever had, man.
Holy Ghost fish.
Best you ever had. Not no nonsense. Not no we could only afford some, some little donuts, not from even Dunkin' Donuts, some other place. We're gonna give you that. Nah, the best. The best. The best.
And on that note,
Yo, on that note, we out. Shout out to the producer, Fake Cool Man. Listen,
Yeah.
if y'all haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the Uninvited podcast. As you can
Yes.
see, like, yo, we talk, man. Like, we talk about real things and we argue, but we come to understanding. You know what I mean?
So is this over? Is this it? This is the
and we
last time
talk-
we're talking about.
I just want to let the record show that Ricky brought up Bible this time. I didn't do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Dwayne's
true.
defense.
That's true. Dwayne didn't do it.
Dwayne's
But
defense.
All right.
that's true. Dwayne didn't do that. But Dwayne did bring up the polygamy. I didn't. Dwayne did.
All right, did we come to a consensus now?
We came to a consensus. We good. We good.
discussed
You know what I
it,
mean?
we spoke about it.
We're fine.
There
We're
you go.
fine.
All right.
Y'all, Uninvited podcast.
All right,
man.
Natalie, we're done. No more.
Natalie, we good. At least for a while. All right, y'all. We out.
Peace.
yeah, we out.